It is right around 7 p.m. on Friday, September 26, 2025. And for the record, I decided to leave a second voicemail for today on the Greenville Group's office voicemail system because they never answer their phones, not even when I call in the middle of a business day during normal business hours. They don't answer their phones because they're incompetent. And the first voicemail was regarding the fact that I can never, ever, at any point, quietly and safely use the toilet in my bathroom without some psycho who seems to spend an insane amount of time sitting in the bathroom behind the wall of my toilet, smacking the wall. So this person started smacking or making noises. I mean, I don't know what they're smacking. They could be just opening and closing a cabinet door loudly, but there's always some kind of noise and agitation suddenly occurring from behind the wall of my toilet in the bathroom of 78 at any point. Whenever I randomly happen to quietly go into my bathroom, sometimes just on the spur of the moment, and tries to use the bathroom. If I go in there and I keep my clothes on, nothing happens. There's no noise or agitation from the other side of the wall, which means that this is entirely surveillance-based, activity-specific, location-restricted, violent, aggressive, deliberate, targeted, aggressive disruption of what I try to do in my bathroom when it involves the removal of clothing. This is extremely and continuously consistent with the Greenville Group's business model of housing large numbers of mentally disturbed psychopath sex offenders in all of their buildings, apparently. This building was normal when I moved in, but I moved in 14 years ago, and they have since changed their business model and apparently sold their soul to the devil and are now housing large numbers of sex offenders because they get more money from state agencies or other sex offender agencies like DMH or DPH or I don't know who else to house mentally disturbed, violent, aggressive offenders than they get from out-of-pocket rent-paying tenants such as myself. This continues to really affect my ability to do whatever I need to do in my living space in any functional, safe, and necessary capacity, right? So when I need to use the bathroom, I can't because there's somebody in the bathroom 78 suddenly getting aggressive and agitated against the wall behind my toilet. And now I'm lying on my bed, and I've been lying on my bed for an hour and a half trying to rest. And pretty much the entire time that I've been lying on this bed, Jasmine Irizarry, the Greenville Group's main paid sponsored career criminal and psychopath who claims to be an IT expert, has resumed the use of a directed energy weapon. What the hell's going on outside? Irizarry has admitted to using a directed energy weapon to electronically assault me, claiming that she is getting paid a lot of money. I think she said it was $300,000 to electronically assault me using a directed energy device that her friend Christopher Thomas then told me that it's called a directed energy weapon and I should refer to it as a directed energy weapon. So not only has Jasmine Irizarry admitted in written comments that she's getting paid by the Greenville Group, presumably, to use a directed energy device, but then her friend, Christopher Thomas, docked his connection to the use of this device by telling me it's a directed energy weapon and that I shouldn't complain and I should call it a directed energy weapon. These are all BLM activists who are really just psycho trash, psychopath, perving, creeping sex offenders who are so mentally disturbed that they do not have any legitimate occupation in life because they're so psychotically perverted and malignant towards other people that they can't function in society. So then they just get paid to be a bunch of perving, creeping, low-life trash who can't leave other people alone. And what they do is they go after people who do have obligations in life and responsibilities and jobs and friends and families and other things going on outside the building. And then these low-lifes just refuse to leave normal people alone. That's a fact. I have dozens of court cases enacted on my behalf. Not dozens. It would be probably half a dozen, I'd say. Well, that's, hold on. Not dozens of court cases, but dozens of police reports proving that I'm the one who is getting assaulted and harassed by these lowlifes who come at me when I'm coming back to the building from being away at work all day, meaning I am the one who's away at work. And the lowlifes are loitering and perving and creeping on the sidewalks around the building complex because that's all that they ever do. I think you just heard a few of them screaming and shouting out on the street right now. And then they go to town harassing people who are trying to come back to the building after being away at work all day. And that keeps happening. And then when I try to lie on my bed and simply take a nap in the evening on a Friday evening, because I've had a long week and I had to get up early and do stuff for my employer today and yesterday and the day before, Then I get electronically assaulted by Jasmine Irizarry, who has written about how she's getting paid to use a directed energy device and that she's aiming it at my head. And that is entirely consistent with what I personally experienced from this directed energy device that is really just a laser that emits EMFs. So the whole term directed energy device sounds all woo-woo and science fiction for all the pathetic retards out there who don't know what is going on in the world around them and thinks that directed energy weapons are some kind of science fiction imaginary thing that only crazy people know about. No, it's not. It's the same thing as an RFID scanner, you pathetic rejects. Go Google it, retards. RFID scanner, retards, okay? A directed energy device is like an RFID scanner for people. And it exists, and it's used primarily by Russian groups, persons, and operatives. And lo and behold, the property owners of this building are from Russia, who own properties in Russia and go back and forth between Russia and the United States on business. I have recordings of that as well. So I can prove that that's a fact as well. So when I keep getting electronically assaulted by a directed energy device, that Jasmine Irizarry, a criminally insane sex offender and psychopath who can't leave other women alone, continues to brag that she's getting paid to use on my person, then you don't have to go far to find those responsible. It would be Alex Karitnik, the property manager, Alex Karitnik, the property owner, Oleg Elisayev, the property manager, Felicita Rodriguez, the property manager, Robert McLean, the chief sex offender, hate stalking, women targeting. I don't know what he is. He's just a pervert. He's like the chief sex offender. He's probably the whole reason that they choose to house large numbers of sex offenders, because Robert McLean himself, I strongly believe, had something to do with the murder of Karina Holmer in 1996. There's a connection there. I just don't know what it is, but there's a connection between Robert McLean and the murder of Karina Holmer in 1996 in the Fenway area of Boston. And I'm going to leave it at that right now.